Okay? If you've been holding on for so long, keep holding on. Every single dots on the I, every single cross on the T will make sense in earnest soon. I know there are days you wake up tired, wondering if this is all worth it. Maybe you're chasing a dream that is taking longer than expected. Maybe you're saying the economy is not in your favor. Maybe you're working hard but still feeling invincible, or people are not seeing you enough. Maybe life keeps throwing punches and you're not sure if you can take another hit. But let me ask you something. What if your breakthrough is just around the corner? Do you know that in the midst of groaning and gnashing, your story could take a different turn? I know that the general notion is that it is only appropriate that the majority of the people begin to see the positive, begin to see the dividends of why we are even on this journey in the first place. But hey, one person at a time, each day, one goal. All right, you're not stuck, you're being shaped. You're being shaped. Think about anyone who has ever achieved anything great. It has been a factor, or there's been different factors coming together to make it happen. The economy, personal will, zeal, zest, and push and drive. Those are all factors. So keep going. Do everything that you can, even in the face of the storm, even in the face of all the punches that life continues to throw at you. Just keep going and stay hopeful, and do not let anything puncture your faith. I am Didi, and it's time for us to go through or around Africa. News across Africa is what we're looking at between now and top of the hour, 8 o'clock, where we'll switch things up and come tell you what the papers hold. As you can already tell, it's about May 1, May Day, workers' reactions, what they are saying. In fact, the big one on Vanguard today is about workers being in pain and being impoverished and being dehumanized, and NLC lamenting. We're going to be seeing a lot of those kind of stories today, so prepare your mind for it. But before then, let's see what's happening around Africa. Let's begin with South Africa, where there are concerns about prosecution of apartheid crimes being blocked. Right. So South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has ordered an inquiry just yesterday to establish whether previous governments led by his party intentionally blocked investigations and prosecutions of apartheid-era crimes. You know, during the apartheid system in South Africa, crimes that happened during the period, those people who were responsible for those crimes being tried? Are they really, facing the wrath of the law? Some arguments have, escalated and have taken a different turn, where people are saying some people are being shielded. So the government have said that they're going to be very intentional about investigations and prosecutions. Well, the landmark move, which survivors and families of those who were killed have demanded for more than 20 years, will address allegations of improper influence in delaying or in hindering investigations that have been... of mention is that the ANC was the organization that was at the forefront of the battle against the system of white minority rule, and that was what led South Africa to democracy in 1994, and that is the party of the president right now. But ANC-led governments since then have been criticized by some for prioritizing national reconciliation ahead of justice for victims. It's not about just saying, oh, everybody comes together, let's live in peace and in harmony. Can people face the consequence of their actions? That's the question they are asking. Well, the good thing is that there's been an assurance from the government. They are saying they will do all they can to ensure that everything is more transparent. Still in South Africa, before we take a drive out of there, the Ministry of Finance said yesterday that a new budget will be presented on May 21, and it would maintain the government's focus on stabilizing public debts. Do you know that South Africa is Africa's biggest economy right now? Well, they will adjust revenue and spending projections and also growth forecast after scrapping a contentious increase in value-added tax that exposed deep rift in the coalition government. Well, the only black all-female units to serve in Europe during World War II, commonly known as the 6888. I want to believe that you've seen that movie. It's a big thing on Netflix. No adverts intended. Well, they were honored on Tuesday with a Congressional Gold Medal. Following a long-running campaign to recognize their efforts, finally, they have been heard. Finally, their efforts have been recognized globally. The unit cleared out a backlog of about 17 million pieces of mail in 3 months. And that was twice as fast as projected. And you know what that did for the World War II? It went a long way. And they even went on to serve in France before they returned back home to their countries. And like many black units during World War II, their exploits never got the attention afforded their white counterparts. But thankfully now, regardless of their skin color, that is black, they are finally getting the recognition. Kudos to them. From that now, we're also hearing great news about Red Cross escorting hundreds of stranded Congolese soldiers from rebel-controlled city. Citizen FM 93.7. So the soldiers and police officers have been taking refuge at the United Nations Stabilization Mission in Congo's base since January. And following the decade